It's currently 1:25 on Sunday, July the 3rd, and it has now been 4 days since the start of NBA free agency, and it's been quite eventful to say the least. KD wants a third super team, Lakers are looking to trade Russell Westbrook for Kyrie, as Russ seems to be getting passed around more than a Kardashian sister, and max contracts and $20+ million a year deals are being given out to anyone who averages more than 15 points per game. Nonetheless, there have been many interesting trades so far as well that make me scratch my head more than Gary Payton II. So here are the most confusing, head-scratching, and dumbfounding trades of NBA free agency so far. Like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any new videos I put out each and every week on NBA free agency, trades, etc. So if you don't want to miss that, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's get back into the video. The Sacramento Kings for a long time have been the laughingstock of the NBA, and that won't change anytime soon if they keep making dumb trades like the one they did to acquire Atlantahawks shooting guard Kevinhuerter. The Sacramento Kings sent Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless, and a future first-round pick for Kevinhuerter. The pick is lottery protected for Sacramento in 2024, top 12 protected in 2025, and top 10 protected in 2026, which softens the blow a little bit for the Kings, but still is quite puzzling. The Kings already are stacked in the shooting guard and small forward spots with guys like Malik Monk, who they just signed from the Lakers, De'Aaron Fox, who could be playing the 2 next year if they start Donovanmitchell, Harrison Barnes, Terrence Davis, as well as potential re-signings of Josh Jackson and Jeremy Lamb. On top of that, the Kings had the second most points scored on them last season, allowing 115.8 points a game, and they also had the 27th defensive rating in the league at 115.3. Adding a guy like Huerter, who isn't known for his defensive prowess, and giving away 2 of your only wing defenders in Harkless and Holiday makes no sense, especially with the supposed make the playoffs now mentality the front office has put upon the Kings. Huerter is a decent player who at worst is a very good 3-point spacer for the Kings, but on no planet is he worth 2 players and a first-round pick, regardless of the protections. For the Atlanta Hawks, they must be elated. They removed him as their starting shooting guard, giving space to Trey and DeJounte in the backcourt, and you get 2 solid 3-and-D wings, which they were lacking last season. Plus, you also clear up space for first-round pick AJ Griffin to develop in place of Huerter and get some more playing time. This trade was too much for a player of that skill set and magnitude, and also doesn't really fit the team, which is exactly the same situation as the Royce O'Neal trade for the Brooklyn Nets. Utah Jazz small forward Royce O'Neal was sent to the Brooklyn Nets for a 2023 first-round pick, which most likely was the one they acquired in the James Harden trade from Philly, which will probably be in the 23 to 30 range. This trade sparked the Brian Windhorst masterclass.
They traded Royce O'Neal, who is a role-playing 3-point defensive shooter, to Brooklyn for a future first-round draft pick. And so you're going, well, what do you care about Royce O'Neal? Why does that matter? Why would the Jazz do that? Why would the Jazz, who have 2 stars on their roster, take a player who's one of their starters and best defensive players and trade him in a salary dumping move? What's going on in Utah?
What's going on?
And that's what people in the league are watching right now.
Okay.
What's going on in Utah?
But still, this makes no sense for the Nets regardless. Royce O'Neal is one of the more underrated and it seemed undervalued 3-and-D wings in the league, as he improved greatly with the Jazz over the last few seasons. But a first-round pick for someone who averaged 7.4 points this season, especially when Jeremy Grant barely went for a first round and a few late seconds, is laughable. On top of the fact that shortly after this, it was announced that KD requested a trade from the Nets, and Kyrie, regardless of his opt-in, seems on the way out as well. It doesn't really make sense if you're semi-rebuilding and you're Brooklyn, and you just gave up a first-round pick in next year's draft class. Not the 2028 draft class, next year. That's pretty goofy to me. And as far as I know, there are no protections on the pick, which leaves no saving grace. If you're the Jazz, you're happy because you're most likely rebuilding now, and Mitchell is probably on his way out along with Gobert. And now you can start your rebuild with plenty of assets and a GM in Danny Ainge who knows how to do it. Which brings me to the worst trade I may have ever witnessed.
The Utah Jazz, they have agreed to trade 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, the Timberwolves. They send Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Jared Vanderbilt, the number 22 overall pick, Walker Kessler, 4 first-round picks to the Jazz.
You've gotta be kidding me. This was the reaction I had when I saw the Timberwolves had traded Rudy Gobert for, get this, Patrick Beverley, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Leandro Balmero, and 5 first-round picks, including this year's first-rounder of the Wolves in Walker Kessler, who could literally be Gobert in 5 years, just in case anybody was wondering. But what in the actual hell is that? And there is only one protection on any one of those first-rounders, which is the 2029 first-rounder. You are protecting a potential 7th grader. The Wolves front office was adamant to keep Timmy at the local middle school. Thank goodness they saved him. With that package the Wolves gave up, they could have damn near got Kevin Durant. Instead, you get a guy in Rudy Gobert who's very good, but you aren't even sure how he'll fit alongside your franchise center, who you just extended $200+ million for, which is Karl Anthony Towns. And the thing is that the Wolves didn't even need to do this. They were on track to develop a nice young core with a balance of older vets. Now you've hoisted yourself into a championship dogfight immediately, because Gobert is 30 years old and you traded away majority of your future. The fit seems to be okay, it's yet to be determined, but this means that Cat has to play the power forward, and D'Lo is now your starting PG, and he's not going anywhere unless you downgrade him for a role player at the point guard and some assets, because you traded away all your potential assets in this Gobert deal. If you're the Jazz, you pulled off daylight robbery. Hella draft capital to start a rebuild and a few good young players as well. Or they could even retool the roster around Donovan Mitchell and they still wouldn't be too bad. For the Wolves, if you can't reach the finals in the next 3 years, this trade is a complete bust and could go down as one of the worst trades I've seen in quite a long time. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of all of these trades in the comments below. Check out this video here on how KD is right about wings dominating the NBA. Like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.